So mabuhay everyone. We are Group 3 and today we will be discussing Chapter 3, Air Transportation. So air transportation is the youngest or yung pinakabagong form of transportation ngayon compared sa land and sea transportation. Nag-start lang siya in early 1900s and when the Wright brothers made the first successful flight. Despite being a late bloomer, naging mabilis ang growth ng air transportation, transforming mobility, business, and especially the tourism. So these are the learning objectives. Discuss the history of aviation, explain the importance of air transportation in the tourism industry, identify the different categories of air carriers and aircraft, explain the air transport structure. So what is aviation? So before diving deeper, it is important na alam natin kung saan galing yung word na aviation. So the word aviation comes from the French word avis which means bird. It refers to the design, development, and production, operation, and the use of aircrafts. Basically, everything na related in flying machines. It covers entire systems such as airport, aircraft technology, airline operation, and air transport services. So, merong three categories ang aviation. Number one is yung general aviation. So, according to ICAO 2009, general aviation includes all civil operation na hindi scheduled yung mga flights. So, mga example nito is yung mga air charters, private business flights, flying training, aerial photography, paragliding and gliding, air ambulance, crop dusting, police air patrol, and forest firefighting. So, sa general aviation naman, ito naman in the Philippines, it significantly contributes to airport congestion, especially sa NAIA. Number 2 is the commercial aviation. Ito naman yung air transport that involves flying for businesses or profit. Examples nito is yung mga scheduled flights, cargo airlines, and charter airlines. Number 3, military aviation. Ito naman yung mga aircrafts na ginagamit ng mga armed forces for the national security and defense, transporting military personnel, logistics, warfare, and rescue or for missions nila. Ginagamit din ito to carry civilians in emergencies such as evacuation. Next naman is yung the history of aviation. Lighter than aircraft development. Ito yung mga aircraft na lumulutang or lumilipad because they are lighter than air or napapalipad sila by use of gases like hot air or hydrogen. Number 1 is yung hot air balloon. Yung unang successful hot air balloon flight happened in 1783 by Montgolfier brothers in France. Ito yung kauna-unahang hot air balloon na ang passenger is a person. Sa Philippines naman, ang pinakaunang recorded din na flight is also a hot air balloon noong 1909 by Portuguese acrobat C.F. Marquez sa isang carnival sa Manila. Today, hot air balloons are used for tourism na lang in places like Turkey and are celebrated annually in Pampanga through balloon festivals. Number 2, airship or dirigibles or blimps. The first successful airship was created by Henry Giffard in 1852. And ang pinaka-famous type was the Zeppelin, used for military and commercial travel. The Hindenburg disaster in 1937 ended the commercial use of such airships. So ngayon, ginagamit na lang siya for advertisement and sa mga TV broadcast. Next is the heavier than air aircraft development. So these are the aircraft heavier than air, needing engines or aerodynamics to fly. So ito naman yung Gallery of Aviation. Sila yung mga inventors na nag-experiment and became the foundation of modern aviation. These are the important pioneers in heavier than air flight. Number one is si Leonardo da Vinci. Although best known as an artist, Da Vinci designed early flying machines such as ornithopters. Ornithopters. His sketches inspired future aviation innovators. Number two is George Cayley. He developed the first successful glider around 1853 and is considered the father of aerodynamics. Number three is Otto Lilienthal. He studied bird flight and flew nearly 2,000 successful gliders flights, influencing later inventors. Number four is John Stringfellow. Together with William Henson, he created steam-powered aircraft designs, although hindi naman sila naging successful. Number five is Lawrence Hargrave. Siya naman yung nag-develop ng compressed air engine in 1888 that used three rotating cylinders. Number six is Samuel Langley. Samuel naman from United States, nagproduce siya ng several unmanned heavier than air aircraft or yung mga aircraft na hindi na need ng onboard pilots. And number 7 and 8 is the Wright brothers, Wilbur and Orville Wright. They achieved the first controlled power flight in 1903 and this marked the beginning of modern aviation. Sobrang laki ng impact ng air transportation. It changed the world more than any form of travel. Pinaiksi nito ang time of ng pagta-travel and it connected nations and it boosted global tourism. From hot air balloons to military jets, from airships to commercial airlines, aviation continues to evolve, making the world smaller and more accessible. So let's now move to the history of Philippine aviation. Philippines is known for shipbuilding. The Department of Trade and Industry reported that Philippine-based shipbuilders have exported ships since 1994. However, the country is not known for airplane manufacturing. Airline companies will have to compete their feet by ordering aircraft from aircraft manufacturers overseas. Aviation history is viewed from the different perspective, and that is through milestones throughout the years. Aviation came to the Philippines as early as 1911, just 8 years after the successful flight of Kitty Hawk, and commercial aviation followed when the first mail service was delivered by Tom Gunn in 1914. So Philippine Press is a book title of 100 Years of Philippine Aviation from 1909 to 2009. It is focused on airline management by Dr. Avelino Zapanta. He is a former president and a chief operating officer of Philippine Airlines. First is on February 27, 1911. James Bud Seymour's Louis Red Devil biplane 10 miles out of Manila. Even just a simple fleet, it was recorded in history as the first cross-country in the Philippines. And first Filipino passenger was Gagaban. He is an Igorot chieftain flew over Luneta Park and now Rizal Park by Lee Hammond or on February 12, 1912. But even with passenger, it was not a commercial activity. The flight was during an air show. And the first woman passenger in the Philippine aviation history was Cora Wong. She is a nurse from Chinese General Hospital who won a popularity contest, and the prize was to fly with Tom Gunn on April 11, 1914. So Tom Gunn made his other first aside from flying with Cora Wong on the same day. He dropped a bag of mail for the Manila Post Office and this event proved the viability of air transportation as commercial venture. And the next day, on April 12, 1914, Tom Gunn flew to Guam, bringing him Rosario Reyes, who was recorded as the first international passenger. It was late 1919 when the first airline was established in the Philippines.
Major Joseph E. Stevenot and Alfred J. Craft incorporated Philippine Airways Service Incorporation to operate commercial airmail between Manila, Cebu, and Iloilo. In 1931, the Philippine government saw that they need to create an office to handle aviation matters. The office was then organized under the Department of Commerce and Communication. Panex. So following this event, several entrepreneurs and businessmen ventured into the airline industry. And here are some of more significant companies that were established in 1919 in chronological creation of major airline companies in the Philippines. So first, Philippine Airways Service Incorporation or PASI. It was established on November 1919 by Stevenett and Croft. Philippine Air Service or PAS established on July 1920 by Philippine government. Philippine Airways Incorporation or PAI established on November 1927 by Brigman Alunan, Cresap de los Reyes Kairos and Alfred Croft, and it was not able to operate and later renamed as Philippine Airlines. Aviation Corporation of the Philippines (ACP) established on May 25, 1929 by Borromeo de Witt Elizalde, Fernandez, Carlo Fernandez and Calao. It was not able to operate for lack of qualified pilots. Compañía Aérea established on July 12, 1930 by Spanish businessmen and also not able to operate due to financial constraints. Philippine Aerial Taxi Company or PATCO, established on December 3, 1930 by Barak, Stevenot, and Soriano. It was not operated non, it was an operated scheduled service and filed for bankruptcy in June 1940. Iloilo Negros Express Company, established on April 1932 by Lopez family, and it was ceased operation in 1947. Air Manila established in 1964 and it was merged with Philippine Airlines in 1973 and ceased operations in 1984. Aerolip established on August 1982 and led by Carmelo Flores, and it was closed due to financial difficulties in 1996. Star Asia Airlines, established in 1994 by Vicente de Villa Jr., it ceased operation in 1996. Grand Air, established on December 1994 by EL&E Aviation Consultants Incorporation, and closed due to financial constraints brought by 1997 Asian contagion. Cebu Pacific, established on March 1989 by JG Group, Air, Air Philippine Corporation or APC, established on October 1990 and taken over by Philippine Airlines and later named as Polar Express. Asia Pacific Airlines or ASA, established on 1995 by Airline Company Cooperative and later bought by Sesto, became Zest Air and then sold to Philippine Air Asia. Sea Air Corporation, established on 1996 by Iron Doiner, it was merged with Tiger Air Singapore and then later sold to JG Group to become Sedco. Corporate Air, established on 1995, headed by Alberto Lina, and initially operated as non-scheduled courier. Tawag International Airways, established in 1995, chaired by Shirley Nang, and stopped operation due to couple of fatal air accidents. Zest Air, established in 2008 and rebranded as Air Asia Zest in 2013. So what lesson can be learned from this historical listing of airlines in the Philippines? So first, success may require government support in policies as well as financially. The historical records show that the several airlines struggled to sustain operations due to the lack of financial assistance and regulatory backing. The airlines needs help from the government, especially with money and rules. With the right support, airlines can continue flying and growing. And without the help of government, many airlines may close. Second is Competition may lead to the failure of some airlines because of overcapacity. As many airlines enter the market, the competition becomes intense, and this leads to lower fare, reduced profit margin, and financial losses. Third is airline operation and management is capital intensive, but financial fundings need a solid plans and strategy. And safety is priority of airlines. Aircraft accident can cause heavy strain on the financial standing of airlines. Even a single major accident can be enough to destroy financial viability of small airlines. Even though airlines trying their best to keep flights safe, accidents still happen. And the rise and fall of new airlines company did not only happen in the Philippines. It has been common phenomenon throughout the history of airline industry. The airline around the world experienced a slack in late 1990s, and yung iba is na-bankrupt because of events like rising fuel and oversupply of airline seats due to the new airlines coming in. And some of these falling airlines survived with the financial support from their government. Another common reason for the failure of an airline is related to overcapacity. Overcapacity is happens when many airlines fly the same route or city at the same time. So if the number of passengers doesn't grow along with the number of flights, the airlines end up competing for the same customer. And this often leads to price war where airlines lower their prices to attract passengers. And sometimes they might even sell tickets for less than it costs to operate. Next. So what is the significance of air transportation? Rodrigo et al. Explained that transportation exists to overcome the spatial separation created by distance. This distance shaped by both human factor and physical conditions such as time and train. They further noted that the purpose of transportation is to modify the geographic realities. So sinasabi lang dito is the transportation exists to overcome the physical distance between places and making it easier to move goods and people. And this highlights the important role which is transportation plays for connecting society. Transportation enables human activity by linking nation, region, and communities across the globe. Across the globe. Its significance is especially evident in tourism, which relies on moving travelers to various destinations using multiple transport modes. Because of this, tourism and transportation have mutually dependent relationship, and the fact that the Philippines is an archipelago, the current transportation system is quite extensive if not world class. Tourist destination can be reached with a different means of transportation such as land, sea, sea and air transportation. But air transportation is most convenient in terms of time. For example, 48-hour travel by bus from Manila to Davao is only 2 hours by air transport. And 20-hour travel by sea from Manila to Cebu takes only about 1 hour by air. Though air transportation is the fastest way to travel, it may also be most expensive. And if the tourists want to visit different places, whether domestically or internationally, flying is the fast and convenient. And most tourists choose to travel by plane because it helps them spend more time enjoying their vacation instead of spending a lot of time traveling to get in the destination. So, ayun, hello. My name is Rosan Apo. My part is categories of aircraft. First is, next. First is aerobatic airplanes. These are airplanes not restricted by flight maneuvers. They have a maximum of passenger seats and do not weigh more than 12,500 pounds or
approximately 5-7 kilograms. Then aerobatic ay yung yung nagbi-build siya ng dynamic maneuvers like loops, rolls, and inverted flight. Ayun, para pang siya, pang recreational and experiment airplanes. Next is commuter airplanes. Ito yung category niya is yung limited to have 19 or fewer multi-engine and propeller driven. Ito is commuter is like pang travel siya. Usually ginagamit siya pang domestic flights and nagke-carry siya ng 100 passenger. Next is experimental airplanes. These aircraft may not have been fully proven in flight, hence then experimental they may be amateur-built or kit-built aircraft. They are sometimes unmarine or used for light sport. Experimental is nagbi-build siya ng wide range of research purposes. Pang lang siya, pang research purposes lang siya. Then hindi siya ginagamit ng pang ibang ginagamit katulad ng ibang mga airplanes. Ayan, next is light sport aircraft. LSA is how some know this airplane category according to an article from EAA. AirVenture getting a sport aircraft certificate is half the time faster and the regular pilot licensed light sport aircraft. Ito naman is yung category niya is siya, maliit lang siya, then simple lang siya, then magaan lang siya, then yung niya for lang din siya for recreational flying din katulad ng experimental aircraft. Next is yung limited airplanes. Airplanes categorized as limited are either modified or converted military aircraft which is currently being used for civilian purposes. Ito namang limited airplanes is used for special purposes. Hindi siya ginagamit kung saan-saan. Then, ginagamit lang siya sa mga military, experimental, katulad sa experimental aircraft. Then, pwede rin siya sa research operation. Next is normal aircraft. Ito naman ginagamit din to for personal travel lang, parang pang lang siya, pang flight training and non-commercial operation. Next is primary airplanes. Airplane is this category are given special airworthiness certificate. They have to be built in compliance with the production certificate. On the technical side, they have 3 or fewer seats and typically unpressurized, as explained in what are the regulatory categories of aircraft defined by the FAA. Dito naman, itong primary is design siya for mainly for basic flight training, personal flying, and recreational aviation. Ayan, next is restricted airplanes. Itong restricted airplanes is used for agricultural and other services like surveying, weather control, and forest services. Ito namang restricted airplanes, ginagamit siya for katulad sa land transpo, yung mga bumbero. Pero sa mga mga airplanes na ito naman ginagamit din siya sa mga mountains kapag may mga nasusunog, ito yung ginagamit nila. Ayun, next is transport airplanes. Transport airplanes are yet another category of airplanes. These aircraft weigh more than 12,500 pounds and have more than 10 passenger seats. It has piston edging, greater than 19 cs and a maximum take-off weight of more than 9,000 pounds. Etong transport airplanes is pinaka-big commercial aircraft designed to carry many passenger or large cargo loads safely over long distance. Ito, ginagamit tong transport na to is for sa mga maraming passenger para sa mga malalayong malalayong pinupuntahan. Ayan. Next is the last one is utility airplanes. Ito yung pinaka stronger structures ng mga airplanes. Ito yung the last in the aircraft category list are the utility airplanes. These planes can also be used for aerobatics. Ito same siya ng aerobatics. Pwede rin siya pwede rin siya ng mga dynamic maneuvers like loops, rolls, and inverted flights. This aircraft have a maximum 9 passenger lang. Hindi siya katulad na aerobatic is kailangan 2 person lang, pero dito 9 person siya kailangan. Take-off weight should not be more than 12,500 pounds, both Federal Aviation Regulation and what are the regulatory categories of aircraft defined by FAA. Stated utility aircraft maneuvers include spins, lazy eights, chandelles, and steep turns. This is of the great use for airshow aerobatics. Ayan. Next is the types of aircraft. First is jet. Jet is engines produce very powerful thrust by pushing out hot, fast-moving air from the back of the engine, allowing the aircraft to fly faster, higher, and more efficient than propeller-driven airplanes. Next is yung propeller. Yung propeller is yung blade sa harap ng sa airplanes. Ayun, makikita nyo dito sa pangalawang picture, ayun yung sinasabi kong blades. Then yung prop jet ay yung pinagsamang jet and propeller. Nagko-combine siya ng yung helicopter na airplanes na maliit lang, then meron siya sa harap na jet. And sunod yung helicopter. Helicopter is an aircraft that can take off, fly, hover, and land vertically using rotating blades on the top called rotor blades. And ayun, yung helicopter, alam naman natin 'yon. Yung helicopter, unlike sa airplanes, kailangan niya pa mag-run away. Pero yung helicopter, parang diretsuhan na siya ng take off. Next is yung amphibian/seaplane. Yung amphibian is nag-ooperate siya ng both water and land. Pwede siya sa water tsaka land. Yung seaplane naman is dinesign lang siya for water operation. Ayan. Next is test na pala.
Okay, next is routes and air services. Airlines rely on network planning models to estimate profitability. These models help carriers forecast passenger demand for different destinations, decide which city pairs to serve, and make other scheduling choices. There are 2 primary types of airline network structures, which is point-to-point system and hub-and-spoke system. Ang routes and air services, yung airlines hindi pwedeng basta-basta silang kukuha ng ruta randomly. Meron silang ginagamit at tinatawag nila yung network planning models para ma-figure out nila kung ano yung ruta, yung mas magkakaroon sila ng pera or kung saan sila mas kikita. Then kung gaano karami yung passenger na pwedeng mag-travel. Also, yung schedule na may sense which is kung saan silang schedule mas makakakuha ng passenger. Then meron nga diyang dalawang rutas, two route system, which is point-to-point system and yung hub and spoke system. Sa point-to-point system, airlines operate straightforward routes from one city directly to another, usually non-stop and often marketed as direct flights. With this setup, the airline's responsibility ends at the destination of the flight. If a traveler needs to continue to another location, it becomes a separate point-to-point journey. Ang simple lang yung explanation about point-to-point system. Direct flight siya. If lilipad tayo from one city, straight lang siya to another. Example, kapag may may flight tayo to Bacolod to Manila, ayun yung tinatawag na point-to-point flight. But kapag nag-continue ng Manila to Singapore, ayun na yung tinatawag na separate point-to-point flight. Next is yung hub and spoke system. The another model is hub and spoke system, like a bicycle wheel with the hub in a center and the spokes radiating outward. Airlines use major airports as hubs. Smaller or regional airport feed passenger into these main hubs. Then from that hub, airlines operate frequent flights to numerous destinations using larger aircraft. The feeder routes or spoke typically use smaller planes. Then dito naman, meron nga silang major airport na tinatawag nilang hub. Then yung hub na yon, yun yung nag-act like yung parang central meeting point nila. Then yung smaller airports, which is yung spokes, sila yung nagsisend ng passenger dun sa hub. Then from that hub nga, inaano nila yung passenger to connect dun sa mas malaking flights, then papunta sa mas dun sa popular na destination. Then meron din diyang sinabi na most low cost carrier. Then explain ko na lang, yung sa Cebu Pacific dyan na sinasabi, mas prefer daw kasi ng Cebu Pacific yung low cost carriers kasi mas cheaper siya and mas easy daw siya to operate. Yan lang. Next.
So, ayan, here we are at the regulatory bodies. Global industry associations and organizations act as intermediaries and coordinators among airlines and countries. They help balance interests between powerful nations and economically smaller countries. Two major organizations involve ITAYA and ICAO. These bodies remain impartial and ensure fairness in global aviation. So, ano nga ba ang regulatory bodies? Sa Global Industry Association and Organization act as intermediaries and coordinators among airlines and countries because of the gap between powerful nations and economically smaller countries. But these bodies help balance interest and maintain fairness in the aviation industry. Two major organizations involved in this role are ITEA and ICAO. This organization remain impartial and ensure order and fairness in global aviation. One of these organization is the International Air Transport Association or IATA. So the right pronunciation of this acronym is IATA. IATA was established in 1945 by 57 international airlines. By 2020, it had 290 members airlines and 480 strategic partners and 100,000 accredited travel and cargo agencies worldwide. IATA is pronounced IATA. So although it is an association, also performs regulatory functions for its members. So next slides, please. Here in wait. Herein mission targets and significance of IATA. IATA's mission represent, lead, and serve the airline industry. Therefore, key performance target as stated on their official website is number one, to generate up to $120 billion in airlines released on 2020. Number two is to reduce supply costs and taxes by $50 million. Number three, support industry recovery through the IATA Restart Plan. And lastly, to secure IATA's existence through sustainability strategies. So, significance of IATA in airline transport. So, IATA has greatly contributed to the development and improvement of the global airline industry among all sectors of tourism. Like, air transportation is considered the most organized, largely due to IATA's standardization efforts. So, next slide, please. IATA and standardization ensure clear communication across international airline despite differences in language, accent, and culture. One major contribution of IATA's three-letter city and airport codes still used globally today. These codes helps pilots, air traffic controllers, and airline staff to avoid confusion. So, sa airline kasi, sa IATA, lagi silang gumagamit ng codes kasi importante yun sa mga pilots. Like, ayun yung pinaka-coding nila to remember kung nasaang point na sila dun sa taas para hindi nila nalilimutan or hindi sila ma-confuse. So, significance of IATA air transportation is contributed greatly to the development and improvement of the global airline industry. Air transportation is considered the most organized sectors of tourism. This high level of organization is due to IATA's standardization measures. So, yung IATA organization is nag-set sila ng high standard sa lahat ng airline industry sa buong mundo. So, next slide. So, dito naman is example of IATA's airport and city codes. Mga codes lang siya. Ayan, like katulad dito sa Metro Manila, Philippines, correct code is MNL, not MLA. Kasi kadalasan or tulad ng dati, madalas kasing nagagamit or ang madalas na alam ng mga tao is MLA. Lalo na, pansin nyo sa mga BPO companies, lagi nilang ginagamit na code is MLA, not MNL. So, ayun yung pinakatamang code. Sa Tokyo, Japan naman, city code is TYO Light. Ayan. So, next slide, dito makikita nyo yung mga sample ng pinaka-codes. Next slide po. Ayan. Like dito sa Luzon, ayan, sa city, province, city airport. Ito po yung pinaka-city airport code natin sa Luzon. Tapos next slide. Ayan naman sa Visayas and sa Mindanao. Medyo malabo lang yung picture. Alright, wait a second. So next slide po tayo. So, ayan. Aside from city and airport codes, IATA also has airline codes. For airlines, there are two kinds of code. There is a numeric code that is used for airline accountable forms, such as airline ticket and airway bills. Another code is the two-character code assigned to each international airline, whether they are an IATA member or not. So, ito yung pinaka-code. Ayan yung nasa baba. Ayan yung airline name, IATA numeric code, two-character code, and ICAO three-letter code. So, next slide. IATA and simplified travels. IATA helps make air travel easier by creating uniform procedure for tickets and travel documents. They introduce standard formats for passenger tickets, both paper and electronics. So, meron kang physical ticket like yung resibo, then meron ka din yung sa digital form, yung sa phone mo kapag natatanggap mo yung email. Ayun yun. To avoid confusion in names, date, and travel details, this system is the basis of today's e-ticketing, ensuring clear and consistent information across airline worldwide. Standardized tickets formats for clarity, sets rules for writing passengers' name, surname, and first name, uses a fixed date format like day, month, and year, and then lastly, basis of modern e-ticket system. Next slide, please. So here is the map of IATA traffic conference area. Ayan. Thank you. And next slide. So, economic role of IATA. Wait lang po. Economic role of IATA also plays an important role in economic side of aviations. While airlines aim to earn profits and passengers seek affordable fares, IATA helps balance both interests. So this is done by setting gross or maximum fares as well as fare floors to prevent airlines from selling tickets below break-even levels. This protects airlines from financial losses and ensures fair pricing for passengers. So here, as we can see, set grosses to maximum fares for international routes, establishes fare floors to prevent unhealthy price drops. So to protect airlines from financial losses, and also lastly, ensures passengers are protected from unfair pricing. Next. And for this slide, IATA and travel agency. In the Philippines, only around 200 travel agencies are IATA accredited, allowing them to issue international airline tickets directly. The accreditation process is strict, requiring trained staff and high financial funds. So despite this, agencies and freight forwarders seek IATA's accreditation because of the prestige, credibility, and global code of ethics upheld by IATA. Because they set the standard high. Others talagang like hinahabol nila yung being accredited by IATA. So many people know IATA through travel agency. Only a limited number of agency in the Philippines are IATA accredited. Meaning they can issue international tickets directly. Accreditation is strict. So, ayan. Yun lang part ko. Thank you.
Next is Philippine regulatory bodies. May two main government agency manage aviation in the Philippines, each with its two own focus. First is yung CAB, which is Civil Aeronautic Board, and yung isa is CAAP, which is Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. Ang CAB is nagfo-focus siya sa economic oversight, and ang CAAP is sa safety and operation. Paikliin ko na lang siya. Yung CAB kasi, ang trabaho lang talaga nila is ma-make sure nila yung fare sa aviation. Then, isipin natin na yung CAB is business supervisor siya ng Philippine Aviation. Then, yung trabaho nun is ma-make sure nila that airfares are fair. Then, ma-ensure nila na yung airline is nagko-compete fairly. Then, sila din yung nag-approve ng fare changes and Sila yung nagpaprotekta ng rights through the Air Passenger Bill of Rights, which is nakalagay dyan na yung CAB is nag-collaborated with the Department of Trade and Industry, which is DTI, para mag-create sila ng Air Passenger Bill of Rights noong 2012. Then, trabaho din nila mag-issue ng permit for airlines to legally operate. CAB essentially ensures that yung aviation environment is fair, safe, and hindi siya overpriced to the public. Then yung Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, which is CAAP, sabi dyan, if yung CAB nga is nag-handle ng economic oversight, then yung CAAP, nag-handle naman siya ng technical and safety side ng aviation. Then, yung next. Then, yung ang mga responsibilities ng CAP is yung nakalagay dyan na responsible for maintaining airports through the 3 major airports, which is yung Ninoy Aquino International Airport, managed by the Manila International Airport Authority. Mactan Cebu International Airport or MCIA, operated by GMCAC. Then Clark International Airport or CRK. Then CAAP ensures the safety of the Philippines air travel, including compliance with ICAO standards for air navigation system and facilities. It is also investigate aviation accidents to determine cause and prevent future incidents, functioning similarly to ICAO's accident investigation rules. Sila din pala yung nag-ensure nga nung navigation equipment, which is nasabi ko kanina, then sila din yung nag-investigate ng mga air accident para ma-prevent na mangyari yun ulit. Then, responsible din sila sa pag-issue ng license sa mga pilot, din sa mga air traffic controllers, and sa other aviation workers. Next. Air transport structure. Instead of looking at just one airline, it helps to look at aviation as an industry, a group of companies that provide the same type of service. Nakalagay dyan, sa Pilipinas daw kasi, mayroong several airlines na nagko-compete para mag-offer ng flights na same ng ruta. Yung example na nakalagay dyan is yung Manila to Cebu na ruta. Meron kasing airline like AirAsia, Cebu Pacific, PAL Express na nag-ooperate ng multiple daily flights. Then yung base fares nila is checked and approved by the CAB para nga mas ma-ensure yung fairness na meron sa aviation. Next.
So, ayun, ito na yung last part and additional sa may part ko. Isa-summary ko na lang yung airline deregulation. Yung airline deregulation is the process of removing government control over the airline industry. This allows airlines to make independent decisions about fares, routes, schedules, and services without strict government approval. Meron din siyang tatlong usually involves reducing or eliminating laws and regulation na nagko-control. Ayun yung una is ticket prices, routes, and destination. And last is market entry and exit for airlines. So ayun, that's it. Thank you for listening.